Welcome to this deep dive on the Fleet Manager podcast. Here at Responsible Fleet GPS, we talk to a lot of you who are trades business owners watching every single dollar. Or maybe you're a safety manager trying to manage liability.
Right, or even a growth stage CEO just trying to scale the operation without things falling apart.
Exactly. And you all probably know that very specific kind of dread, the one where your phone rings at like 2 p.m.
Yeah.
You see a driver's name on the caller ID and your stomach just drops.
Because it is rarely a social call. You instantly start calculating the downtime and the insurance premiums.
It's totally the fleet manager's nightmare. It is usually an accident report. So I have to be honest, when I saw the source material for our mission today, my skepticism alarm went off immediately.
I can definitely guess why. It is a pretty bold title.
Yeah, it's a guide from GPS Insight, and it's called How to Build a Zero-Incident Fleet Safety Culture in 2026. And, I mean, it is that word zero that I am really struggling with.
It sounds impossible on the surface.
Right, we were talking about heavy machinery and traffic and unpredictable weather and human beings. So is aiming for zero incidents actually a real strategy, or is this just corporate marketing fluff?
That is exactly the right question to ask. But the guide is using that specific term very deliberately. It's meant to force a shift in your logic.
How so?
Well, think about it. If your goal is just fewer accidents or reduced risk, what are you actually saying to your team?
You are saying a certain number of crashes are acceptable.
Precisely. You are implicitly agreeing that accidents are just the cost of doing business. You are baking failure right into the budget.
I see. So by setting the North Star at zero incidents, you basically stop managing risk and you start trying to eliminate it entirely.
Exactly. It completely changes the questions you ask. Instead of asking, how do we clean up this mess faster? It becomes, why did this happen at all?
Right, and how do we ensure our system makes it impossible to happen again? Okay, let's unpack the timeline, though. Because the title stamps it with 2026. That is essentially right now. Why anchor it to such an immediate date instead of some distant vision like 2030 or something?
That is the wake-up call for managers right there.
Yeah.
We aren't talking about some distant sci-fi future where autonomous robots are driving everything.
Right.
The source is implying that the tools and the strategies you need to achieve this standard exist today. It frames safety as an immediate operational necessity rather than just an aspiration.
Which brings us to the other heavyweight word in that title, culture. I feel like this is where a lot of companies get tripped up.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they buy the dash cams and they get the GPS trackers and hand out a rule book and they think, well, isn't that a culture?
No, that is compliance. And the distinction this guide makes there is crucial. Compliance is what your drivers do because they have to.
Right. It is checking the box so they don't get fired.
Or slowing down just because Waze says there is a speed trap ahead. That is external pressure. A safety culture, as GPS Insight defines it, is internal.
So it is what the driver does when there are no cops around.
Yes. No cops and no cameras and no cell signal. It is the choices they make because they fundamentally value returning home safely over saving 2 minutes on a route.
But here's the rub. This guide is coming from GPS Insight, which is a technology company. Usually tech companies sell you a gadget and say, this will fix all your problems.
Right.
But they seem to be actively arguing that the gadget itself isn't enough.
That is the paradox. But it is actually the most insightful part of their material. They are arguing that you cannot have the culture without the data, but you cannot use the data without the culture.
Walk me through that.
So if you have GPS data that shows hard braking,
Yeah.
but you use it like a club to punish drivers, you just get a culture of fear.
Yeah.
They will try to hide mistakes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But if you use that exact same data to coach them, to reward them, or show a driver, hey, this habit is risky, let's fix it together, then the technology becomes the foundation for the culture.
The tech isn't the solution. It is the mirror that shows you what your culture actually is.
Perfectly said.
So if we boil this down for the business owners and managers listening right now, the takeaway isn't just to go buy more software.
Not at all. The takeaway is that as we move into 2026, the standard is changing. Being pretty safe isn't going to cut it against competitors who operate with a zero-incident mentality.
It requires moving from a checklist mindset of, did we do the safety meeting, to an outcome mindset of, did we actually eliminate the risk?
Exactly. The stakes are just too high to accept that accidents are inevitable.
So here's a question for you to chew on today. If you walked into your break room right now and asked your drivers what your safety goal is, would they just recite some rule from a handbook?
Or would they look you in the eye and say, we don't crash, period?
The difference between those two answers might just be the future of your business. Thanks for diving in with us today.